Welcome back. Hope you're having a good morning. Well, let's welcome Prakash Diwan, market expert who joins us on the show. Hi, Prakash. Good morning. Good to see you in. Prakash, let's talk about Tata Motors. You know, the numbers were disappointing, but the stock has underperformed. Do you think if it opens up a little bit weak, it's actually providing an entry opportunity, or would you stay away?
Good morning, Nigel. So there's no doubt there is softness on the stock. I think it's the first big casualty of the tariff impact, given the fact that US is a significant contributor to the JLR portfolio. But what's interesting is that the company is still kind of sounding confident of being able to maintain margins in a healthy band, which kind of justify the present price band that you see. It's already about 14-15% off since the start of the year, which means a lot of the other things have impacted the stock in terms of triggers. But more importantly than the numbers, I think it's what's going to weigh heavily is this acquisition from the Italian major that auto major that they spoke about. That's something which over the next 18 months is going to be critical for them to be able to juggle their balance sheet, to be able to grow in spite of all these, weights that they carry. And one interesting thing that they mentioned about the CFO was that there's no impact on production because of the China rare earth metals kind of supply issues. So that's quite different than what we've been hearing otherwise. Which means that they have bigger things to worry about, not so much on the supply side. It's more on the demand side, pricing side. So it's a little bit of a confused spot that the stock is in. I don't think buying it at this stage is going to be very rewarding unless there's a positive triggers that change the trajectory in a bit more decisive way. So I would give it some time, some sort of consolidation before things happen.
Okay, Tata Motors. So let's see how the market will react. Stocks anyway been down so much over the last 1 year. Prakash, now come in on this. One way of looking at it is that you're getting rid of the smaller ticket size accounts and, the operational effort of, keeping them functional. You're going up the premium curve. But then CASA, we don't know the salary piece right now, but do you think that CASA could be under some pressure for ICICI Bank, and therefore will this be negative or positive because of some margin improvement?
No, so I think the bank's doing the right thing in terms of moving up the premiumization chain. And remember, this is for incrementally new accounts opened. It's not for the existing accounts as yet. Most of the banks have done that. When Axis took over the Citibank portfolio, they continued with some relationship value on an aggregate basis of a minimum monthly balance of 10 lakhs, for Citi Gold customers. So, if you don't do that, you end up being in a situation where you can't pass on some of the services to clients. And it's a fee-based income that most of these banks would probably start relying on. It's an era where credit deposit ratios are not so favorable. You don't have credit growth as yet. So it's a good step. They'll of course, they have the flexibility and freedom to recalibrate if required at some point in time. And just to add to that, salary accounts usually are out of the ambit of what these saving balances contain because they are special. But the moment you move out of a particular organization and the salary account converts into a regular saving account, then of course these norms would apply. So I think it's going to be good for the bank if you really ask me. It might seem like they're letting go of savings account deposits, but that's not so much the case. The reliance is more on fixed deposits, term deposits, and that would probably continue to offer them the time liability mismatches not being there. So all in all, I think it's going to be positive, not so negative. Even if the market reacts, it'll probably be a little bit of a sentiment reaction.
You took me back a long time, Prakash. I recall when I was employed and then, took a bit of a break, and then it was a struggle to maintain that EQB, average quarterly balance, which at that point of time was 10,000 rupees. It took me back a long, long time.
Let's ask Prakash what he would advise shareholders of PG Electroplast. Prakash, amongst all the other drama, this was the highlight. This became the headline by Friday afternoon, right? This big cut in the guidance and the way the stock collapsed 22%. Now, whatever is the management's explanation so far, and I think they did the investor call as well, about this just being a seasonality issue, too much inventory, does it cut ice with you? And also tell us additionally if there's any other question you have, because we'll be speaking to them shortly, so we'll take up your question as well.
So this is a bit of a tricky one given the timing. A couple of things that the market probably is putting a bit of weightage into on the negative side is they raised money when they were kind of just about a while back when they were aware of what's happening, or this could have been anticipated, if not in its intensity, at least in terms of direction. And they, of course, have liquidated some holding, which a lot of promoters keep doing, of course, for other reasons. But where this takes the company going ahead from an organic business growth perspective, what's the application of all the funds raised? That's going to be a critical thing. End of the day, it becomes a capital allocation question, and if that is judicious enough, we know the business has been good. The management has delivered in the past. There's no doubt in terms of their ability to execute and all. But is the seasonality far deeper? The damage from the seasonality is far deeper than anticipated. How long does it? If it's a one-off and there's some assurance that you can kind of get when you speak to them, would mean that the stock does get some sort of a support. But the market always loves an excuse to book profits on some of these things which are valued richly and which haven't disappointed in the past. So anything that happens for the first time does get much more weightage. And that's what's happened. So I would believe it'll probably consolidate at lower levels. And then once the commentary starts turning favorable, things could be very different.
Okay, well, let's see if they can offer any further explanations that will help assuage some of these concerns. Thanks for that, Prakash. You have a great day, and we'll connect again soon.
Thank you.